Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. Had a lot of questions about this spring and summer. May and June is the highest activity of ticks, and I've been having a lot of questions from patients as well as hikers, campers about what should we do? Why are ticks right now the worst that they've been in 10 years? And that's what you keep hearing. Well, clearly part of that is due to the fact that we've had mild winters. Don't tell Wyoming and Montana that. They've lost half of their pronghorn herd, maybe even more than half actually. So, but Wyoming and Montana, they really don't have the deer tick, so really not affected. But it's been a very mild winter. The Midwest, the Northeast, New York, the Adirondacks, Pennsylvania, all those areas. So, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I'll digress. So the first Lyme disease diagnosis in the United States was in 1975. In the 60s growing up, I was out in the woods every weekend. I've had numerous ticks. You did not go to the doctor. You did not go, you just picked them off, done, and proceeded along. 1975, the first diagnosis of Lyme was in Lyme, Connecticut, and it just has progressively skyrocketed. Part of that is basically climate warming, and part of that is obviously the migration of the ticks, and not migration of the ticks, but the ticks moving and becoming more prominent, and our awareness of disease states, various diseases, and we've learned over the years. So this is going to be an overview of what's going on with the ticks in 2023. And I've already had, in the last month, a half a dozen cases of people that have come in with ticks and they were worried, and what can I do? All right, 4 major ticks. Deer tick. That's the one with the black leg, also called the black-legged tick, and that is the culprit for Lyme disease. Like this one here, and this one was found on my wife not even 3 weeks ago. And that is the nymph stage. So the stages of the tick, if you don't count the eggs, are going to be the larva. It has 6 legs, but it's still classified an arachnid. The nymph stage, which you saw in that pic, and then the adult. Now, researchers believe that you cannot get any disease state when it's at the nymph stage because it hasn't bitten a mouse or a rabbit or a squirrel. There hasn't bit anything to get Lyme, the Lyme bacteria. However, just in the last 5 years, there's some research that shows that some people, they feel they have gotten the illness from the nymph stage. And if that's true, what that means is that this tick is laying eggs with the bacteria already in the eggs. That would be quite frightening if that's the case, because the nymph stage is just a little tinier than a number on a penny. So, something to think about. So, the deer tick, it carries Lyme disease, it can carry ehrlichiosis, it can carry tularemia, which is rabbit fever, and so that's the one that is the most prominent. Then you have the American dog tick. That one does not concern me much at all, and that is this tick here, the American dog tick. It can carry Rocky Mountain spotted fever in certain areas, and it can carry Rocky Mountain spotted fever and tularemia, the rabbit fever. Then you have the Lone Star tick, and that has the white dot on its back. And that tick is responsible for southern tick-associated rash illness. That tick is also associated with babesiosis, another illness. And what else? Southern tick-associated rash illness, and another one, ehrlichiosis. So that is what that tick is. Now, there are a lot of other ticks, and at the end of this video, I'm going to attach my other videos where I talk about all the ticks in the United States. So if you're not in any of these areas, you can check it out and see if that is in your area, whether you're in Texas or Alabama or wherever you live. So I'll put that at the end. I wanted to talk to you about what happens when you go to the doc. So you go to the doc, you're concerned that you might have a tick illness. So If it's less than 3 weeks, they should not be drawing your blood because it takes at least 3 weeks for those antibodies to become positive. Anywhere from really 3 days to 30 days for Lyme. The other ones have varying incubation periods. But here's the scoop. These labs right here I'm going to show you, this right here is this person has 4 positive bands. Well, what does that mean? So we do a Lyme test. It comes back positive. Then they do a more detailed test called the Western blot, and that has these bands that they look at. And the CDC states very unequivocally you have to have 5 positive bands to be diagnosed with Lyme. And I'm here to tell you, I've said it over and over and over again, that you treat the patient, you do not treat the labs. Treat the patient, do not treat the labs. You're paying for the visit. It's your body. These are your labs. Ask for a copy of the labs. So this guy here, he had 4 bands. Did I treat him? Absolutely, I treated him. So some of the bands can be more specific for Lyme. So you have doctors, PAs, NPs on a continuum. And they can be right. Medicine is benefit versus risk. Benefit versus risk. You're going to have docs and PAs and NPs out on the continuum over here that are going to be rigid. You got to have 5 bands and you don't have Lyme disease. And then you're going to have individuals over here on the other end. Oh, you were walking in a tick-infested area, we should treat you with doxycycline. The 2 extremes are really not beneficial. Somewhere in the middle is the right way to proceed. Remember that. When you go to a provider, you want a copy of your labs. If you have any feeling that you don't feel you're being listened to, then you should seek somebody else, do some of your own research. I'm really, really big on that. It's really, really important for you to be heard as a patient. The tick has to be on you for more than 24 hours before there is any significance. It takes that long for you to get the illness. So if it's less than 24, you've gone out hiking all day, you come home, check yourself, and if you missed one, it's been more than 2 or 3 days, then yeah, you should go in about 3 weeks to get some labs done. Don't get all dramatic and hyper. Just because you got bit by a tick doesn't mean you're going to get a tick illness. So some reassurance there. So another part of this overview should at least be a discussion on the symptoms. Most of these you could have a rash with, and the bullseye rash, that has gotten well touted by the media. Only about 65 to 70% of people have the bullseye rash. You don't need to have the rash to be diagnosed with Lyme. Just for the sake of redundancy, here is the bullseye rash on a patient we had. And then here is a rash called disseminated Lyme, where they get round patches on their body, and it takes about a month for that to occur. It's a stage 2 Lyme. But like ehrlichiosis, you can get little red dots all over your body. Usually in some of them, for example, like babesiosis, it's usually the rash occurs 5 days after you have a fever. So joint aches, all of these, joint aches, fever, headache, fatigue, usually large joints, not your fingers or your toes, but shoulders, knees, elbows, that's the most common. Doesn't have to be just one knee. So that's important also. So there you go. That is the overview. Ticks 2023. Yep, it is going to be a tough year, but hey, use prevention. You know, do the permethrin on your clothes, combine that with some picaridin on your skin. You're going to be good to go. Enjoy the outdoors. All right, stay safe. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your face to the wind. Take care.